More often than not, sasaengs go to extreme lengths to get close to their favorite idols. But while most fans assume that sasaengs operate from the outside, many people have started to believe that some may be much closer than expected, even allegedly working inside K-pop companies themselves. While it may sound like a conspiracy theory at first, several incidents over the years have led fans to take the speculation seriously. Some even believe that having sasaengs working behind the scenes might be more common than people think. One of the clearest examples of this possibility happened in 2017, when fans of solo artist Kim Samuel discovered that two staff members working for his company, Brave Entertainment, were allegedly former sasaengs. These women were previously known for following and obsessing over the boy group KNK, and fans believed they had now gotten jobs inside Brave Entertainment just to be close to idols again. However, it wasn't just speculation, as fans even accused the staff of directly leaking personal information about Samuel online. According to fan reports, they began to share private details shortly after Samuel's debut, making it obvious that they had access to information no regular fan would have, even posting personal photos of him to their private social media. Understandably, fans were furious as they flooded online communities, expressing anger and disappointment toward Brave Entertainment for ever allowing this to happen and not doing proper background checks on those they hire. Seeing this alleged neglect, it is no wonder that fans demanded action from the company. And in a rare moment of accountability, Brave Entertainment responded publicly, releasing a statement that they had looked into the matter and confirmed that the staff were indeed sasaengs. They announced that they had immediately fired both the marketing and support employees involved, saying, "We have listened to the concerns about our employees and thoroughly investigated them. 2 of them have been fired." This was one of the few times in K-pop history where a company openly acknowledged hiring sasaengs and took action to fix it. Still, the situation left fans wondering exactly how often this happens without the fans or company having any actual proof of it. Considering the amount of sasaengs K-pop groups have, many netizens wouldn't be surprised if many of them were actually directly connected to the industry. The scariest part of sasaengs working for entertainment companies is how much insider access they have. They don't need to hack databases or stalk idols from afar, they're already right there, as they always have rehearsal schedules, dorm addresses, and even flight information. This makes it easier than ever for personal details to be leaked, and harder for idols to ever feel safe while at work, as the concept of never knowing who might be selling you out is a terrible thing to live with. Some idols have even spoken up about this fear after experiencing worrying situations. One quote circulating online comes from NCT's Ren Jun, sharing how unsafe he felt on a flight since a sasaeng somehow managed to sit right next to him. He took to Bubble with fans to write, "Those people follow me and sit right next to me, and they take pictures when I sleep. How on earth did they find out my airplane ticket and scarily sit right next to me?" For fans, this was all the proof they needed to believe that someone on the inside must be selling this information, as no normal person would have access to such a detail, no matter how much their cameras can zoom in. And it's not just flights either, as idols seem to constantly address people who follow them and take things too far. In fact, it seems like every idol has addressed such a situation at least once in their careers. Sometimes it's even quite obvious that nobody is realizing these things are happening before they hit the internet. In 2024, fans of ENHYPEN noticed something suspicious when a sasaeng posted behind-the-scenes pictures from a private photo shoot, images that were never released to the public. The pictures appeared to be taken during an official shoot, which led fans to suspect that someone on staff at Belift Lab could have leaked photos they had taken while actively at work. However, despite these alarming stories, not everyone believes sasaengs are hiding behind staff badges. A user claiming to have insider experience in the K-pop industry offered a different perspective on the issue, as they explained that while some sasaengs might try to work their way into companies, it's not very likely that real employees with serious jobs like stylists, managers, or staff would risk everything just to act like a fan. They wrote just how serious of an issue it would be, which would discourage anyone from attempting it. If found out, they'd no doubt be blacklisted from the stylist community for life. Instead, the insider suggested a different possibility, as they imagined that some staff might instead be selling information to sasaengs behind the scenes. While they wouldn't post the information online themselves, as it would be too risky, it's very possible that they are instead anonymously passing it off to sasaengs or tabloid reporters in exchange for money. This would then mean that their hands are technically clean, as no post can be traced back to them. However, while they might not be the sasaengs actively exposing idols, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be at fault and a huge part of the problem. The insider also mentioned that within the K-pop world, gossip travels fast. Staff members often hear details about idols' lives just by spending time with coworkers or listening to others in the industry. That also means these professionals often already have an outlet where they can discuss the gossip they gather. And while it could be tempting to spill things online, they're often just kept between those already in the know. Many netizens seem to be on board with these theories, especially since most stylists, makeup artists, and other junior staff are already so overworked and connected within the industry that risking their careers to act on personal obsessions would likely lead to being blacklisted for life. However, even if gossip and information sharing are only happening behind the scenes, it doesn't mean that information can never leak when it goes through so many people, and it could even happen by accident. Those speaking privately to other private staff could never actually know whether or not that information would travel further, which is why it seems to be such a big undetectable issue. That said, not everyone in the industry is so discreet, and one alleged former Sasaeng fan backed up those suspicions in a now widely discussed online thread. In response to the question, how does the K-pop industry protect idols from Sasaeng fans? A user by the name Kasami Yamamoto, who claimed to be a former BTS Sasaeng, gave some insight from her own past experiences. She explained that while many K-pop companies try to protect idols by blacklisting known Sasaengs, these efforts don't always work. According to her, a lot of companies have staff members who sell information to Sasaeng fans. Some companies actually know, but some don't. This echoed what many fans have long believed, that some insiders may be profiting from selling not only pictures, but also phone numbers, flight details, or schedules, whether or not their management is aware of it. Kasami added, "I just hope that companies would expose this or fire people who do this because their own idols are getting exploited for a quick buck," suggesting that this allegedly happens a lot more than fans think if the companies are aware of it at times. She also claimed that even when idols are forced to change phone numbers, something that happens quite often to idols, it's often still just a temporary fix, as Sasaengs can allegedly make deals or even bribe people in order to get access to the information again. Some could say the pattern can make it obvious whenever a company has leaks once you truly start paying attention. For example, whenever Sasaengs show up at exact hotel locations, flights, or private events, fans become suspicious, especially if it happens often to specific groups. This is why fans often speculate on the matter whenever something impossible to get is revealed to the public. Unfortunately, it's made many fans question the safety of their favorite idols, as one can never be sure if the real danger is coming from people on the inside. But it's not just company insiders or airport staff that raise red flags. Venue staff at events, concerts, or television studios can also be part of the problem. These workers, who are often temporary hires or third-party employees, may not have strict ties to the entertainment companies, which makes them harder to regulate. Since they work backstage or near artist holding areas, they have easy access to private schedules, dressing rooms, and even security routes. In some cases, fans have pointed out how Sasaeng somehow managed to be right outside the venue exit at the exact time idols leave, a sign that someone may have tipped them off from inside. Because these staff members are not official company employees, it's harder to track leaks or hold people accountable. It's therefore no wonder that many idols suffer from anxiety, sleep problems, as the lack of privacy only makes things worse. Even if the staff member isn't a Sasaeng themselves, selling private information or gossiping about personal details is a huge violation of trust, especially since idols depend on their teams to keep them safe, and when that trust is broken, it can affect their mental health and their ability to perform.